Hey guys, welcome to this episode of the Go Mango Tokucast. As always, I'm your host, Frozen Stratos, and today I'll be giving you a breakdown of all the Lupin Pato information we have so far concerning the plot and narrative details, as well as some predictions on how I think the show will work going forward. For all the sources to this video, check out the links in the description down below, as well as the eye icon above as they become relevant. That said, let's get started. Kaitou Sentai Lupinranger vs Keisatsu Sentai Patoranger is the very first Sentai centered around two opposing ranger teams with conflicting goals. The official synopsis is as follows. The Lupin Collection, a collection of treasures with the power to destroy the world. When enemies from another world, the Ganglers, steal it, two Sentai are employed to stop them. Dancing in the sky, vowing to reclaim the collection, Kaitou Sentai Lupinranger. With hearts beating fast, vowing to take down the Gangler, Keisatsu Sentai Patoranger. For the first time in Sentai history, there will be two true simultaneous teams. Catch a glimpse as the curtain rises on these shocking events. Already, we're hit with a lot of information at once. The promise of treasures reminds me a lot of Bokenger and Gokaiger to an extent, as they were always in search of something like a Ranger Key or Precious. Conversely, on the Patoranger side, I'm getting elements of Go Busters from them. This kinda reminds me of the baton pass between Gokai Red and Red Buster, where Red Buster's the young blood on the scene, and in walks the seasoned veteran. Even though they're shown to be equals, Red Buster bows in respect to his predecessor. While this probably isn't going to be their relationship right off the bat, I'd like to see this sort of contrast between the two leads. One being sort of stuck up and to the book, while the other one plays it sort of fast and loose while being shown as competent as leaders in their own rights. This idea is somewhat supported when you compare it to previous first look scans. Red Buster has that more reserved feel with more subdued posing, like we see with Patoren Ichigo. Lupin Red, however, has more elegant yet daring poses. I wasn't able to find an equivalent example. Let's move on to the rest of the Rangers. What can we glean from what we have so far? Well, each of the gimmick toys, the Versus vehicles, have a secondary transformation. Lupin Reds from a jet to a beam gun, Blues from a propeller plane to a Gatling gun, Yellows from a side rotor heli to a rotating blade. On the Pato side, we have cars turning into a wheel, gun battery, and baton for Ichigo, Nigo, and Sango, respectively. It appears the girls will both be using melee-based weapons, making me think of Umeko and Luca, or rather, Deca Pink versus Gokai Yellow. Speaking of Deca Ranger, we have a green and a pink on the Pato Ranger side. Maybe they're going to get together, kinda like a throwback to Sen and Umiko. Maybe? I don't know. We'll see. Each Ranger transforms using a shared henshin device known as the Double Henshin Ju, or the Double Transformation Gun. Even looking at the suits reveals some more commonalities. Their helmets, outside of their hats, are the same base design. They both have similar shoulder pads. The emblem is in the same place for each of them. The boots and gloves are basically the same. Even the pattern on the torso, while similar, fills out the same section. All this evidence leads me to believe that the teams have a similar benefactor. Who might that be? My theory is Good Striker. Good Striker is the sentient vehicle that helps out the worthiest team that week. If you load it into the Henshin Ju, it triggers the team's final attack. The Lupin Rangers multiply while the Pato Rangers combine to form Patoren Yugo. It also forms the connective tissue of the mecha in this season, Lupin Kaiser and Pato Kaiser. What makes the distinction between Lupin Kaiser and Pato Kaiser are the flip-out leg details on the shins and knees. This means that as far as the scans are concerned, there won't be any partial teams forming the mecha. It's either going to be the Lupin Rangers or the Pato Rangers. But what does this have to do with Good Striker being the main benefactor? Well, keep in mind that this is me speculating, so I could be wrong. But all the gear seems to be pointing to Good Striker as the linchpin to the whole system. It chooses who forms the mech. It chooses who does the final attack, and it combines with all the gear. If it's so integral to the Lupin Pato system, it must have been okay with giving them the powers to begin with. And you might be wondering, why hasn't he been mentioned in the synopsis if he's going to be so important? Say like the de facto mentor. Well, in early synopses of Kyoryuger, there was no mention of Torn at all. And the first synopsis of Q Ranger, there was no mention of Zhao, until, of course, a month later when we got more details. But hey, we'll see. Maybe he's just an incidental part of the whole thing. Who knows? Tell me in the comments down below what you think we're going to be getting out of this new show, and what you want to see from it. Hit that like button and subscribe if you want to hear more from us each week. We do weekly watch-alongs and reviews of the latest superhero time toku shows. Anyways guys, thanks for listening, keep it juicy.